Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGM eCast. For your Wednesday night, we're here with the Xfinity, the Thunder Series, the Xfinity cars in the Thunder Series, and we are at Richmond for round 3. Don't believe what you see on your screen. You know the internet can lie, as it is round 3, in fact. And we're here with Carl Withy again tonight. Carl Withy, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Stuart Brown, and good evening, everybody else. A pleasure to be back here, a pleasure to be here at Richmond with the Thunder. It is going to be a furious one tonight. This track is it's a bit of a beast. It's one of those tracks that's a little bit different. I'll talk more about that later. But these Xfinity cars are going to be serious fun out there.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Richmond, we've been here before, but that doesn't mean it's top of mind. Of course, we end up living in this blur of races with the amount of stuff we stream these days, Carl. But tell me a little bit more about Richmond. What are we expecting tonight? We've got a good race coming up.
Yeah, look, the big thing tonight is going to be tyres. We say that often, I know. Tyre management is a key in all oval racing, but here it is especially the case. I mean, fuel's not going to be too much of an issue. It is going to be those tyres, so you might even see some people possibly trying a two-stop strategy just to really throw things out if there is a lot of green flag running. But as we say, if there is a lot of green flag running, that's a big if. That's one of those things that's it's a little bit like a hen with teeth. You know, they're pretty hard to find sometimes.
Absolutely, I love your analogy. I think last night you used the wing of a fly as an analogy during the broadcast, so it's one of the things I look forward to and enjoy. We've got 26 runners tonight as well. It's another strong turnout here for round 3. On screen at the moment was Luke Georgeson, one of the new entrants into the series, running in his 3rd race. We've also got to go back. We'll highlight, and he won't like this, but we'll go back and highlight Peter Wilkinson, who's, or Wilco as he is known, Locked On iRacing podcast leader, Locked On leader, in fact, overall, and he joins us again for his 3rd outing for an ANZCAR event, so good to see him back out on the track. Currently sitting P24, so just working his way nicely into this car, which can be a little different to drive.
Yeah, it's good to see him actually getting on, and you can of course listen to him over on Locked On Lads talking about his experience in the ANZCAR series, and it's not been an easy entry, of course, but it never is. He's got good qualifying pace. It's just the race pace and race luck has got to come a bit of Wilco's way, of course. It's been a little bit tricky for him. He's got caught in a couple of incidents, one of his own making at the beginning of the season, just tagging the wall a little bit, but a few where he's just been very unlucky, and it is one of those things that just takes time, and you do have to build up your confidence and just get used to it. And I can see him starting to he's definitely got the pace, so that's a good start, and it's just getting the awareness and getting used to the cars around you. That's the next step, so keep an eye on him for the future and as we go on. And it's also a very nice looking paint job too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of it's probably the fact that he's in a Mustang. You probably might find it a little bit easier if he jumped into the Chevrolet, but of course, these distinctions will happen. It's a pretty familiar story at the top of the table. We've got a 1-2 for Josh Mickelmore, Hamish Gallagher at the top of the charts, and then Ruben Phelps has jumped in. He is just knocking on heaven's door at the moment. He has been very, very competitive over the last few weeks across the plethora of ANZCAR events, so keep an eye on him tonight. My quiet money's on him for the win. JCW on screen at the moment. He equally is doing well. We saw the interview with him in the Chase on the stream last Thursday night, so if you're interested in having a little bit of a listen to more about JCW, then jump into last week's stream and have a listen. And then Ed Foster currently sitting in 5th, so all the big names in the series up the top. Dave Douglas currently sitting in 6th as well. Steve Williams just in 8th there, so plenty of the big runners up the front. And to be brutally honest, Carl, the usual suspects lurking towards the back, which means just about nothing given their form of late. And I speak, of course, of Mr. Sheen himself, Matty Ray.
Oh, absolutely, and Matty Ray's actually leading the championship at the moment. That's how well his season's going. He might not be out there in time, but in championship standings, he is way up there. We've only had the 2 races, of course, but he is currently in the lead. He's just ahead of Norman Clark in 2nd place, with Danny G, and Danny G's in joint 2nd with Norman Clark. In fourth place, we have Thomas Martin, of course, after that breakthrough victory at Daytona. Josh Micklemore is in fifth. Usual suspect for Josh Micklemore to be up in there in the top 10, but P5 for Micklemore, that's not his usual spot. Scott Griffiths, sixth. Seventh for JCW, Joshua Carroll-Walton. Brenton West in eighth. Ninth for Luke Georgeson. And 10th for Matty Hunter. So a lot of big names not inside the top 10 of the championship yet, 2 races into the season.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think Josh Micklemore would consider that the nosebleed section as far as he's concerned, where he normally sits. Of course, Hamish Gallagher, defending champion here. So it's a big challenge for them, but they're certainly starting the night off well with 30 seconds or so left in practice. They're sitting P1 and P2.
Yeah, and good news for Peter Wilkinson. He's actually managed to get to P20 in the championship. That means he's ahead of me. So that is some good news for him, at least.
Well, and of course, that presumes that he's measuring his success against you. So, let's see. That might not be the case, of course.
Well, he'll have to see how he goes with that one. I'm doing the only one race this season. I probably will hinder my my ability to put much of a competition up against him.
I was going to say, I think you might be hoping that he finishes ahead of you, given that that is the case. But you never know. So we're just about to tick over into qualifying here. If it is the first time you've watched with us, welcome to the stream. A few there, Carla as well. Welcome, Carla, to the stream. And of course, Trev jumping in as always. G'day, Trev. But we've got the usual practice here of having a solo qualifying for each driver. We're jumping on board with Joshua Carroll-Walton tonight, and we're going to let Carl talk us through a lap on board with JCW around this Richmond track.
Yeah, Richmond, one of the older tracks in the series, sort of dating back to 1946, possibly earlier if you look at some of the other records as well. The first place to hold an IndyCar race after World War II. So JCW gets loose coming into the first corner. That's going to be an abandoned lap, so that's not what JCW wants there.
Well, let's jump on board then. We'll get on board then with Peter Wilkinson instead and let him, for Locked On iRacing, show us around this circuit.
So first corner coming in here. Now, weird thing about Richmond is it's not quite a short track and it's not quite a super speedway. It's the longest short track and it's the shortest super speedway you'll find on the calendar. Just 1.2 kilometers in length. It's a bit long to be a short track. But it has the speed of a super speedway, and just getting loose on that final corner again there, Wilco. So that's 2 drivers we've seen lose it on at the exit of turn number 4, and it's very easy to do. What happens is your tyres actually build up heat here very quickly, and if you spin them up too much, you will struggle on turn 4. So coming into turns 3 and 4 now, just got to get the car settled in there, nice and easy through there, gently on the power, and make sure not to put your foot down too hard, because otherwise that rear will step out. Across the line it goes, up into P11 for Wilco. Not the lap he will have wanted after that small incident, but Hamish Gallagher is up there on pole position at its stands. Looking around for some others going around at the moment. Brenton West setting a good time, getting himself up into P3 there.
So jump aboard on top of Josh Micklemore here, so he can take us around for a flying lap as well. So he's just getting out through the conclusion of his exit lap, and we'll sit on top of the roof of the Mitch Motorsport entry here, 31 Josh Micklemore, and see how he gets it done. Ruben Phelps currently sitting P1 now, at 22.48, so he has done a scorcher, just 100 ahead of Hamish Gallagher, so it's tight at the top. Let's see how Josh gets on.
You're going to be getting up to speeds of just about 210, 215 kilometers per hour down the straights here. They're not exactly long straights, and then across the D-shaped section across here. So it's basically a giant D-shaped oval, this one. So you have the back straight, and the front straight isn't exactly straight. Micklemore just getting a banker lap in. This is going to be his fast time now. So he's going to be absolutely hammering it this time round, going nice and low into the corner. You see he's just getting that rear. Doesn't quite bite for
loose,
him.
Isn't it?
Just steps out. Yeah, just wiggles a little bit, but this should be faster. Whereabouts does it get him?
Oh, he's pulled out.
Up into P5.
Up into P5. He has got it done there. So let's see how big Dave Douglas gets on. So he'll be joining us tonight at select moments throughout the race. So at the moment in qualifying mode, his first lap bank lap 29.75. Won't be happy with that at all. We're looking to improve. Lachlan Urquhart has aborted his lap, so he's done for qualifying. And Matty Ray choosing not to qualify along with Jamie Nankervis, Thomas Martin as well.
This might be a relatively fast one from Double D. I reckon he would have taken a slightly different line into turn number 1. That's why that first lap was so slow. So a bit like some of the tracks a bit like Spa, for instance, being quite topical at the moment. That first corner, if you sort of you can kind of mess it up on your entry to take it across for the first lap, and then actually get a really good qualifying lap for it. So you might lose that first section of that first little straight section, but it'll make you go faster for the whole thing. So yeah, good work for Double D.
Double D in the box with us now. How was that, mate? It looked a little bit loose out there for a couple of the drivers with the back end breaking away.
Yeah, it's definitely loose. On that first lap, the rears, I just don't think they've got enough heat in them. And as you saw, I spun it into turn 1, but I was sort of predicting that. And then, just made the best of my second lap. But even out of turn 4, I was still loose. I had to have a reset in the throttle to get back down the power. Still managed at 22.5, so that's not too bad. That's pretty good.
Well, he's going to be starting from P3 tonight, mate, and appreciate you jumping in with the booth with us. We'll let you go and get ready to get into this one, and hopefully not speak to you, but we'll speak to you during any cautions that might come across.
Sounds good. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, Dave. Dave Douglas there just joining us. So, yeah, definitely loose there, Carl, so that's going to be interesting on the first lap, I reckon.
Yeah, I thought he'd compromised his first lap. I thought that's what he was doing, is just trying a little bit different there, but no, he actually lost it on the first lap. So, interesting one there for Double D. It says it's going to be a tricky one, and that tells me the first couple of laps are going to be perilous.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's run through the grid here. I have to apologise for the overlay there tonight. Just a little failure on the way in. But Ruben Phelps taking out pole position, first time in the series this year. So congratulations to Ruben on P1 with Hamish Gallagher next to him in P2. Then Double D, Dave Douglas and Steve Williams. Bit of a return to form for him up into P4. Then Niz JCW, Josh Carroll-Walden into 5 with Josh Mickelmore in 6th. Then Brenton West and Jackson Callow in 7th and 8th, followed by Damon Stockton and Matty Hunter into top 10. Good result for Matty Hunter there, with Mirko Dortnack and Edward Foster running off the 6th row. As we move back through it here, it is Scott Griffiths and Norm Clark off row 7 with Christopher Finlay and Aidan Schultz off row 8. Luke Georgeson and Tristan Koch off row 9 with Tim Weston and Mitchell West off 10. Then it's Mick Taylor and Gary Wellman off 11 with Peter Wilkinson and Matty Ray off 12. And then rounding out our grid is Lachlan Urquhart, Thomas Martin and Jamie Nankervis.
It's going to be an exciting race. As I say, I think the first couple of laps, they're just going to need to get those tyres warmed up a little bit. It's going to see who manages to get a little bit of tyre heat on the formation lap. We might see a few people dragging their brakes a little bit, just trying to get the radiant temperature coming out through the brakes, try and warm up those tyres a little bit, try and get a little bit of extra heat in there, and see if they can get that working. I think Brenton West might not have made the grid, unfortunately. So, no, Brenton West didn't make the grid, unfortunately. He's starting from pit lane, so he was up in P7, so he's going to be starting from pit lane. So that's made a little bit of a change in the old grid lining up. So he's decided he wanted to start from pit lane, or maybe just missed it from a comfort break for the driver there. But this start is going to be a super one. You can see Dave Douglas just behind Ruben Phelps, absolutely trying to go to work on those tyres, warming them up really aggressively. He's just getting a little bit of wheel spin, braking very hard, wheel spin, braking, and that's generally the best way to do it. You might see some cars doing the old weaving left and right, but that doesn't really do much to the tyres. Generally, you want to use the brake to your advantage and the accelerator. That's the best way to get the tyre temperature in there, and especially on those rears, you want them to have a little bit of heat in there for that first lap, because otherwise you're going to really struggle. So the pace car will go around one more time here, and then we will be green at Richmond Raceway for round 3 of the Xfinity Cup here for Wednesday Night Thunder on FGM Ecast.
Yeah, we're here on board with Joshua Carroll-Walden, just having a look back here. So we'll see the start, and we'll jump out and have a look at how everything unfolds. It is going to be Ruben Phelps leading us away.
How nervous is Ruben going to be up on the front here? He's no newcomer to being in the lead and up at the front. He has done it in some other series and some other cars, but in ANZCAR this is a slightly newer experience for him, especially from pole. Pace car peels in. Ruben Phelps is going to be the leader. When does he drop the loud pedal? He's waiting for it. And we are go. Ruben Phelps gets a great start there. Dave Douglas also getting a good jump too. Hamish Gallagher up on the high side. Dave Douglas is going to try and get down low. You can see Stephen Williams running up a little bit higher than normal. That's going to give Joshua Carroll-Walden a little bit of a jump. Good start from everybody there. It looks relatively clean. Maybe Jackson Kelly just slightly into the wall a little bit. Slight touch there, but Ruben Phelps has got a beautiful start there. A nice bit of a gap. And that's going to give Dave Douglas and Hamish Gallagher a chance to battle, which is great news for Phelps.
Yeah, absolutely. Broke away at the front there, minimised the wheel spin, got a really good run away from everyone, and he's opened that gap up. Dave Douglas with a good start too. He's down on the inside of Hamish Gallagher, so he looks like he's going to move himself potentially up into second place, and JCW looking to go with him. As you can see there, the high line running from Hamish Gallagher. Looks like it's been a little bit effective there for he's managed to keep out in front of Dave Douglas, of course, getting the better run off the corner there as well, and it's a really, really clean start here.
Yeah, nice run from Hamish Gallagher. He's making that high line work, and you can see the extra speed he's carrying off the corner. Dave Douglas gets a big tank slapper, as well as a car behind as well. I think that might have been Matt Hunter or Christopher Finley. I saw a yellow car just getting a big tank slapper on in the midfield. They managed to save it, though, importantly. But Hamish Gallagher has taken the lead in the Diet Coke Mitch Motorsport Taylor Swift-sponsored liveried car, the number 13, up into the lead. And we said that a few times in the Xfinity Series. Hamish Gallagher doing a great job there. Just behind him, Joshua Carroll-Walden's on an absolute charge as well, just taking that a low line. Question is, are they going to be putting too much stress in those tyres a bit too early? Are they going to be pushing it too hard? Damon Stockton as well is on an absolute charger too. He is flying through the field at the moment, right down the inside of JCW there. Really tight move, side by side on the exit of the corner. Dave Douglas just takes a slight glance to the wall. That's going to give Micklemore the opportunity. Stockton and JCW make a little bit of contact, slight bit of rubbing between the two. Nothing major though, just that little bit of rubbing and racing some. They are racing hard side by side. We've got four cars racing side by side at the moment. Stockton, Carroll-Walden, Micklemore, Douglas, all racing for a second, third, fourth and fifth at the moment. Stockton might have it here though. That low line seems to be just working a little bit better in the long run. That high line can give you a better run off the corner, but the low line seems to give you a little bit of advantage, and Stockton moves up to third. Nice run from him at the start there. Stockton working his way right up the field from P9 up to third.
Yeah, 6 positions gained, biggest mover in the field so far. Also, Christopher Finlay making moves along with Aiden Schultz, both up 4 positions. Mitchell West as well making his places up, I should say, from the rear of the field as well. He's up 4 positions. So plenty of people moving through this early on. Thought it might be a little difficult to pass here, but not so, as it looks like as well. Tristan Cock might have just had to pull out of it a little bit there, and he has, as Mitchell West and Luke Georgeson get past him. Georgeson battling away up until that point with Mirko Dortnak just in front of him there. You can see that gap has started to open up now between the two of them as Dortnak heads in pursuit of Matty Hunter, who's right on the back of Aiden Schultz. So plenty of battles going on throughout the field of this early portion of the race, as you'd expect. Only 9 laps in, as Aiden Schultz has to defend from a hard-charging Matty Hunter at the moment.
Yeah, one of the nice things about Richmond is you can race a little bit. It's that sort of mixture of sort of speedway and short track. You know, you have the best of both worlds. Sometimes you will generally, as the race goes on, get more of a single groove raceway, but at the start you can run both lines effectively. As those tyres start to wear and the marbles start to build up though, and you get those nasty bits of old, dirty, worn rubber up on the high side and the low side, then single line becomes a thing later in this race. But at the moment, Gallagher is running away with it, setting some great pace, around about 0.2 of a second faster than Phelps. He's managed to build up a 1.5 second lead at the moment, but is he pushing too hard, too fast? That's what you've got to say. He might be taking a little bit too much life out of his tyres too early in this race, and that could really affect him.
He's doing well so far. Phelps just starting to open a gap on Damon Stockton. I think Stockton perhaps having one eye on the rearview mirror at the moment, with plenty behind him. Mirko Dortnak off has caused the first caution of the race. Let's go back and have a look at Mirko.
Yeah, Mirko just getting a little bit of a love tap there, and that is what caused it. So a little bit of a love tap from Mitchell West, unfortunately. So the very lovely livery Mitchell West there, that very cool looking car, just gives him a little bit of a love tap there and just gets him up. Nothing major, luckily. Little bit of side-to-side contact, but no other cars really caught up in it. Mirko a fair bit of damage, but probably not too bad in all honesty. So he should hopefully be okay. So we'll see how that one repairs. Quite a bit of damage to the front, but with these cars, they can survive a little bit of a hit.
Get Dave Douglas down into the booth now and just find out how this race started. Dave, mate, just slip back a little bit there at the start.
Yeah, mate, just trying to look up these tyres a little bit. I'm always... Confidence isn't always high at the start of the races, especially one with this one, it's so loose, so I just thought I'd let a few of those guys go and see if they can't bang doors up ahead and make me some places. But yeah, just looking after the tyres mainly.
What's the strategy, trying to make it to halfway?
Well, fuel is close, man. Like, I only need to add a couple of litres to get home here. So I was thinking about just taking some fuel then and that's it, because it's within like 5 litres. So it's a one stopper and it's only going to be a short stop. So it's more tyre race than fuel. So just got to pit at the right time and keep track position, I guess.
Fair enough. Thank you for your insight. We'll let you get back into the room with Mirko, who no doubt needs some counselling after that one.
Cheers, guys.
So there you go, a race of tyres, Carl, as you called at the start, and a very, very small fuel window. I wonder if we'll see anyone attempt the no stopper.
Yeah, we might do. It's possible. It's going to be tricky though. It's going to be tricky to save the fuel for that. It's that amount of fuel that you could possibly save, but it's going to be very, very tricky indeed. But
depends on
the
cautions
are going to help.
Yeah. So it depends on how many cautions we get. We have seen that. I keep messing it up, so apologies if I make a mistake here again, but I can't remember if it was Andrew Dyson or Hobbo who managed to run a race in the Xfinity without stopping, which shocked us because we weren't even anticipating it. But it has been done before in this category, so could this be the second instance?
A driver with a very, very beautiful beard, and you're going to describe either one of them.
The bearded warrior, shall we say, who just managed to take everyone to task over it. But no, we have seen it before here in the Xfinity Series, so could be the second night tonight. I don't believe it was at Richmond though when we did see it. So
I think it was. I've got a feeling it was somewhere like Bristol or Dover. Yeah, it was one of the shorter tracks, but memory is hard. As you say, when you're calling so many races throughout the year, they all blur into one in the end sometimes.
Absolutely, but at this stage, Damon Stockton's probably the happiest driver on track. He's up 6 places and currently in P3, so he's had a ripping start, some good pace as well. His best lap within a shadow of the best lap of the race so far. Of course, Hamish Gallagher, probably the biggest one to lose. He was building a nice little gap at the front there, and that has been taken away from him through this caution period. We don't believe Mirko Dortnack will be too heavily impacted from that damage. The biggest advantage for him now is he will be fueled up to the end of this race based on what Dave Douglas was saying. It depends on how well he can manage his tyres from here. So he might be able to salvage something. He's on the lead lap still, so...
It has helped out Brenton West as well. He had an issue with connection earlier on, unfortunately, from that good starting place of P7. The other West in the field. He's out there with Mitchell West, of course. So it's helped him out a little bit. And look, he needs a good night as well because he's up there fighting for championship positions. So he's going to want it to go well. But we are back to green flag racing. Gallagher gets a really nice restart there, perfectly away. Phelps trying his best to defend that low line. He's going to take a slightly higher line into the corner and try and get a good exit out of there. Stockton has seen it, and he is defending that low line. He's going to try and get through there and get in front. Stockton trying to get it up to P2 at the moment. Really pressing hard as we've got another caution. Norman Clark and Lachlan Urquio in the wall. So just a bit of contact between... just a sort of free wide moment there as Mirko Dortnack on the inside. Norman Clark just drifted up slightly and just caught up with Lachlan Urquio. So 3 into 1 does not go, unfortunately. Those 3 cars are very much not going into 1. And did Wilco make it through? He did indeed. So luckily Peter Wilco did actually manage to avoid that incident. So good news for him.
Wilco got on the lucky side of that one, managing to make it through. So he did very well there.
I was just about to say, this is really going to help out Brenton West because he is going to get the lucky dog again.
Yep.
So that's good news for him because he had some connection issues. So he's going to be able to get another lap back. So he'll only be 3 laps down.
And it's not unheard of that you can come back from a level like that.
No, if we get another couple of cautions early in this race, he could be back on the league lap and possibly fighting for positions. So we'll see how that one pays out for him. Because that could be an interesting one to watch, his progression through the field, and it would be nice to see him get back on the league lap because it's never fun when you have a technical issue take you out of a race, and it's not an enjoyable experience. But much like, Full Metal Racing, these things happen, of course. Instead of an engine dying, it's an internet connection. So these things happen to us, and you have the mechanical failures still in virtual racing. It's just a slightly different kind of mechanical failure. Generally, it involves less fire.
No different to your car not starting on the dummy grid.
Exactly.
Which can happen, of course. So, but Hamish Gallagher, we sort of didn't get too far away from our last conversation about where the race situation is at. But, of course, no one pitting in other than those maybe getting a little bit of repaired damage. Like the likes of Mirko Dortnack and that after our first caution. So they have jumped into pit lane just to get that damage repaired. So otherwise, it is status quo. I was going to say...
Weston actually has come through. So Tim Weston has decided to take a pit stop. So he's got some fresh boots on himself and fuel in the car now. So he can possibly go to the end right now. So watch out for Weston. And that car's clean as well. So... that is a very clean, fresh car. So he's taken the strategy call right there in the 787.
So you expect he's probably going to try and run to the end?
Yes. Yeah, I think we might see him try and make it to the end. I think I just heard a massive crack of thunder outside my window. So he might be looking at something for this race. So we'll see how that one goes. Unfortunately, I think we might have lost Jackson Callow as well, so we might have lost a couple of drivers from this race, unfortunately. Thomas Martin as well. So Thomas Martin, of course, winning the first race of the season, so big name out already this evening. So some of the championship contenders are already dropping out.
Well, we'll see what happens. It might be for any other number of reasons, but what we can tell you is that Hamish Gallagher will get us back underway when the pace car pulls in, the safety car pulls in. I haven't made that mistake for a while. When it pulls in a matter of corners, and it will be the Mitch Motorsport man. I don't think we've seen a bad start from Mitch Motorsport in quite some time. They're experts at it. I guess that helps when you spend a lot of time at the front of the field. So.
It does. Look at how aggressively Stockton is warming up his brakes and tyres at the moment. He is really wanting to get them on top. Gallagher is going to launch it. When is he going to do it? He does it now, just on the edge of the corner, trying to catch a couple of people out. Great restart, though, from Hamish. Stockton as well, away like a greased whippet. Perfect start for him. He just moves up in front of Phelps to block him off a little bit. That's going to give JCW an opportunity down the inside. Blocking off Josh Micklemore is Phelps at the moment. He's going to move it into the middle to try and defend against 2 cars. Can't quite do it. Stockton has managed to get that second place. Phelps is now going to defend against 2 cars. It's going to be very difficult for him because JCW is going to get down the inside and try and make that pass on Ruben Phelps. Well, Micklemore is still fishing around down there too. So he's got to watch out for Josh Micklemore too, because Micklemore will desperately want to try and get past him. These two are going to be battling for a little bit of time now. Good little battle as well for Scotty Griffith and Dave Douglas as well. Dave Douglas losing a couple of positions just on the high side. Stephen Williams just getting past as well. Stevie Dub trying to get down the inside. Almost going 3 wide. Well, they are going 3 wide there. They think better of it, just easing out a little bit. Scott Griffiths in the middle, Stevie Dub down the inside. The 98 trying to get past Griffiths. Meanwhile, up front, JCW is now having to defend against Josh Micklemore. Micklemore making the move as the caution is out once again.
Yeah, it's a surprising one. That one actually didn't see who was involved in it. Let's go.
So we had Lachlan Urquio and Mick Taylor, unfortunately. So it looks like Taylor's just got up into the wall and just bounced it down into Lachlan Urquio. And that car has gone looping it around. and not the night that Urquio will have wanted there. He's managed to keep it going in a straight line, but another big heavy hit to the front of that vehicle.
Yeah, no, it's, that vehicle is not terminal, but it's not far off. Interestingly enough, Ruben Phelps, Dave Douglas jumping into pit lane now, so a couple of the front runners deciding that they're going to take their medicine now. In fact, I think Dave Douglas might have just thrown a dummy because he is back out on track, but Ruben Phelps has entered pit lane, was running third at the time. So the other one we haven't spoken about at all is the Don himself, Edward Foster. He's just quietly made his way up 7 positions and is currently sitting in P5. So not the qualifying performance Ed would have hoped for, but after getting the race win last week, he'll be quite happy to be up into P5.
He will be. Now you've done it, of course. Now you've mentioned his name, that's it. He's guaranteed to be involved in the next caution.
Well, I better change the channel.
Gary Wellman coming in as well. He just gets a little bit of damage repaired, gets some more fuel on board, but doesn't take tyres. Ruben Phelps has taken all 4 sets of tyres, so interesting little one from him. So Phelps is on some fresh rubber. We'll see what advantage that gives him now after about 30 odd laps out on the track. So he'll be on some nice fresh tyres, but he will not have the track positions, so he'll have to fight his way through a lot of cars. But this could be a good deal for Ruben. This could work out quite well for him if we get a long green flag stint. And you never know in these races, you know, sometimes you do get a few cautions, breeding cautions early on, and then all of a sudden you'll get an 80-lap green stint from nowhere, and you'll go, where did that come from? And it catches everybody out that was thinking, oh, well, we're going to have a lot of cautions tonight. And all of a sudden, those people that make that gamble, it pays off in an enormous way.
Yeah, it can just sort itself out. The pack just gets used to where they're running and into the groove. Particularly if qualifying's been a little bit different to normal, and you've got a couple of outliers who might put in a blinding lap, or a couple of the front runners who don't quite get it done. So we saw a little bit of that tonight, but you know, it's starting to sort itself out with the usual front runners getting to the top of the field. Damon Stockton doing a ripping job as well. He's up 7 places into P2, so he's done a really good effort to get there. Scotty Griffiths up 6, Aidan Schultz up 7, so we've got some big movers here. Matty Ray, as we would expect, up 9 positions. It's about normal for him during this type of race, but he's currently sitting in P15, and I guarantee you that that car will be in mint condition, and it certainly is. So Matty Ray just running his usual course. Expect to see him play a part in this race as we get towards the end of things here tonight.
Yeah, he'll want another strong finish. As I said, he is in the Leaders Championship at the moment. Only 2 races past, but consistency has been key for Mr. Matty Ray. And of course, if you want to hear a bit more from Matty Ray, join us tomorrow night for the Cup, because there will be his interview as he made it into the chase this season for the Cup Series. So he will be chatting a little bit before tomorrow's race for the chase.
Looking forward to that one.
Yes, should be quite fun. So Hamish Gallagher settling in once more. Stockton on the outside this time. Stockton is now close enough to try and make a bit of a move onto Hamish Gallagher. How will Hamish make the start? He does it quite early. You can see Micklemore just got a little bit loose on the exit of the corner. Didn't work out for him because Stockton's come straight down after the start-finish line to block him off. Nice move there from Stockton just to make sure that those Mitch cars can't link together. Meanwhile, there's an Atari battle behind them. Those 2 Atari cars are looking to keep themselves in those positions and just block out the road a little bit from Stevie Dub behind them at the moment. But you can see the battle is quite fierce there between all of those cars down the pack. It is absolutely furious as we go down.
And those Atari cars look good in the pair there. And look at the battle that's developing behind them. Aidan Schultz getting real aggressive here, wanting to make the move up. So he's got Dave Douglas behind him and Scott Griffiths in front. So they're just having a little bit of a contest, and into that as well is Christopher Finlay and Matty Hunter. So this group developing. Luke Georgeson in on the back of it as well as Trishan Cox. So this pack thickening like a good souffle. So they're getting together there.
Yeah, it's good to see from Matty Hunter a bit more aggression in his driving this season. He's definitely upped his aggression factor a little bit. Not too much, not to a point where it's getting into people, but he is really starting to press on advantages and not move over too easily. And he's got just a little bit more confidence. Yeah, that's it. He's just got a little bit more confidence.
Damon Stockton down on the inside there. So he has had an incident and a half. Let's have a quick look at that one. He's got it back going again. Doesn't look like too much damage though.
Just got a little bit of help there from ANZCAR. So Josh Mickelmore just getting his braking point. Just getting in on each other.
Wow, Stevie Dubb got lucky there down on the inside, but no damage other than positions lost.
That was so close there. That would have been a grip the wheel moment for sure. Just the most innocent of touches, and he almost managed to catch it, Stockton, but he just doubled back on him, unfortunately. So he just did the old tank slapper. As the field come in right now, Dave Douglas is sticking it out there. So Double D is sticking out there. He's got some damage on the front of that car. That is recent, I think, because I don't remember seeing that too. Well, that's quite a while ago, actually. So he's got some damage on the front of his car from somewhere. So Dave Douglas is going to stick it out there. This is going to work out well for Ruben Phelps, of course, because he came in 9 laps ago. So Phelps is going to move up into about P4 now. So this is good news for him. This could be something that works out very well for Ruben Phelps.
Big Dave joins us again now. Dave, what's the view like from the front, mate?
Oh, mate, looks pretty good up here, but we'll see if it works out. But I just figure, why wouldn't you stop the last caution if you went for 2 laps here? So why not just stick it out here, see what happens, do something different.
A little bit of damage on the right-hand front corner of the Double D Mobile there. When did that happen?
Just caught the wall out of 4 on the front straight there at one time by. Sort of climbed the wall a little bit, but shouldn't affect it too much. But as I said, just been tapping them tyres. So now we'll see how much I've saved them, and hopefully the guys behind me make it a bit harder for these guys to come through the field, and we'll see where we end up. But as I said, zig when they zag, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Looks good, mate. Look forward to seeing the restart. We'll let you go.
Cheers, mate.
Well, there you go.
Easy thing to do, collecting the wall here, obviously. we both wanted to know straight away. We're just like, oh, where did that happen? But it is an easy one to happen here. As I say, it's a very quick track here at Richmond. It's got quite a nice banking to it, but it is easy just to run up and just catch that wall a little bit. There are some parts of the track where the wall just juts out a little bit, as all ovals tend to have. Is that just a little bit of it feels like there should be a little bit more exit room than there is sometimes, and it just catches you out a little bit. But my money right now is on Ruben Phelps. He is looking good. He's going to be starting just behind Dave Douglas. He is on very fresh tyres. He's sitting very good. Tim Weston's looking pretty good too. P5. Mirko Dortnak, he has got some very fresh tyres on his car as well. Gary Wellman down there in the 8th. Peter Wilkinson up there in 7th position, so he's going to be up in the dizzying heights at the moment, just on those older tyres. But it's just that thing of getting the restart right now and just sort of cruising it through. It's still early doors. We're only 39 laps into the race. It's just going to be just taking your time and not rushing too hard. But it will give some good experience of fighting it out and having some battles in the pack as well. And that's one of the things that we do say is really... It's really something you don't get by just running practice laps. You know, you could run 1,000 practice laps at a racetrack and think, yep, I'm ready to go racing here. Until you actually go racing, you don't know what it's going to be like, and you don't actually get the feeling for it. So if you are looking to have a go, the Xfinity Series Thunder on a Wednesday night is here for that. This is the training grounds, the area for the drivers to... Luke Georgeson just having a... big moment of disconnection there. Netcode issues.
Yeah, he just had a disconnect there as we're about to get restarted. So Ruben Phelps copying a little bit of damage out of that. Completely accidental. But when Dave Douglas can drop the hammer, he goes early, goes on the corner. He gets away with minimal wheel spin, but he's going to have Ruben Phelps to deal with very, very quickly. The rest of the pack gets away really cleanly here. And we're underway.
There is some tight racing going on down the field at the moment with those cars on old tyres, cars on new tyres. It is absolutely crazy in the pack at the moment. Oh, Hamish Gallagher getting squeezed right to the bottom by Gary Wellman. Josh Micklemore up on the high side of Wellman. They're free wide at the moment. This is really close up, and you can see there Joshua Carroll-Walden, I think it might be, trying to get in on the action too. The Natari cars there. Tim Weston now up there in the sights. Car just bouncing off the wall in the background, managing to keep it safe though. Ruben Phelps has taken the lead though. Ruben Phelps is in the lead of this race on those fresher tyres. This is going to be very helpful for him. So he just needs to build up a nice gap now before the rest of the pack catches up. He just wants those guys to fight away, get caught up in some battles now, because that will really help out Ruben.
Yeah, got nearly went 4 wide there on a 3-lane track, so that would have been very, very interesting, but it's starting to sort itself out now. So as fresh tyre runners try and make their move through. Looks like Josh Micklemore now trying to get the move done on Tim Weston as well. Completely different tyre strategies here. Micklemore makes the move through. He's now got Luke Georgeson in his sight. Georgeson with that little bit of damage just from that net drop out at the just before the restart there. Probably lucky it didn't happen once the flag had dropped, but he has got a hard charge and Josh Micklemore and fresh tyres behind him. Hamish Gallagher, my apologies, trying to go in as well. Hayden Schultz.
Unfortunate for Schultz there. He's managed to keep it going though, so we are going to remain green. Just looks like the rear end stepped out of him on the exit of turn 4, like so many drivers in qualifying. He got airborne across the infield, but managed to keep that car pointing in the straight direction. Watch this save. Boom, straight up in the air there. So that would have been a very uncomfortable ride. If he had a butt kicker installed, that would have been... he wouldn't be walking straight for weeks after that one.
One fell swoop to the behind, but managing to save it, no caution period. As Josh Micklemore gets the move past Dave Douglas.
About to say, yeah, up front, the Mitch boys are on a Havas charge at the moment. Those fresh tyres are really doing their job, and they are fighting their way up towards Phelps. Phelps, not that much older tyres, only 9 laps over the guys behind him, but you can see the little bit of difference that is making right here. And those Mitch cars are looking switched on at the moment. Those guys are really racing hard and racing well, so they are on an absolute flyer through the field, and you can see Micklemore making the move on Phelps already. Down the inside he goes, and that is a pass for the lead for Josh Micklemore, taking the lead of the race. Phelps thinking about trying to make a move back, can't quite make it happen though, unfortunately for himself. Meanwhile, the Natari cars just swap positions just behind him. Foster now behind Dave Douglas, I think. So Foster's on a bit of a charge as well on those fresh tyres. So he's going to try and work his way up the field and try and start catching Hamish Gallagher as well. So those battles are starting to heat up. Dave Douglas just on the outside at the moment. Dave Douglas still trying to hold on to it. As we got a caution, Mirko Dortner into Scotty Griffiths.
I was going to say, it looked like Dave Douglas there just lost the rear end a little bit. Sorry, my apologies. Joshua Carroll-Walden trying to get the move done on Dave Douglas, just lost the rear end a little bit. That allowed for Foster to catch up there and make that challenge. For those just joining us, Dave Douglas, Luke Georgeson have not made a pit stop yet, so this will help them. Those on fresher tyres have eaten them up a little bit with Micklemore, Phelps, Gallagher and Foster all pitting on the last caution. So we'll jump back here and have a look at this incident that involved Scotty Griffiths. Let's go back and look at it now.
So yeah, just a little bit.
Little tap there.
Yeah, just a slight little tap there as Dortnack just got a little bit loose on the entry and just went up into Griffiths. Big spin, no major damage. He managed to get the car around. Didn't quite manage the old flick spin, unfortunately. But he did get it round, and that's caution number 6. No, 5.
5.
There we go. Counting in my brain, not the easiest thing to do sometimes. Dave Douglas has stuck it out there though, so he is banking on this a little bit. So you will start to get a plateau of tyres. So that's something that he's going to bank on. He's going to stick it out there for a bit longer because he wants track position. We've got 61 laps remaining. So Dave Douglas has got a plan and he's sticking to it at the moment. Josh Micklemore though, he had a good charge going and that sort of put an end to his momentum. And that's going to give Ruben Phelps the opportunity to get a good restart. Hamish Gallagher is going to be sitting right behind his teammate Josh Micklemore though, so that should be helpful for them. Watch for Edward Foster on this restart as well. I think Foster's going to be desperate to try and get himself between those two Mitch cars.
Good for news for Brenton West. He is now 1 lap off the lead after that dropout, having qualified in P7. So he'll be praying for another one of these relatively shortly because he'll then be back on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's having a good recovery. He came into the pit lane with the leaders as well, so he has got fresh tires on and fuel. So he's pretty much set to the end of this race now. So another caution from here, and he'll be back on the lead lap and in contention again. And it's just one of those things on oval racing is you never give up because you never know what's going to happen. You can go 5 laps down and still come back onto the lead lap. We saw that, of course, from Micklemore a couple of weeks back, going a couple of laps down from that penalty and then managing to get up to 7th place in the end. So, you know, you don't give up, you just keep on keeping on, and eventually things do come back to you. I've got to say, that save from Aidan Schultz was something special. That was one of those moments where you just go, that's going to be a race ender, and all of a sudden, somehow he managed to keep it going. So that was a fantastic moment. That will look good on the old highlights reel.
Yeah, I was going to say, quite the jump that he made there. So, yeah, just very well done. And this caution early after that is going to help him as well, because he did drop a few positions.
Yeah, no, I think he'll get the award for biggest air of the night, so he might get the old judge's score for victory for his manoeuvre. I don't know if he performed any tricks while he was in the air. He might have performed a slight kickflip or something like that. But we'll have to go back and re-watch that one to see if there were any stunts pulled, in which case you could score some extra bonus style points.
Yeah, absolutely. So caution number 5, the lights are out on the pace car, so it will be Josh Micklemore who gets us underway here. Ruben Phelps doing well, retaining P2. He's dropped 1 spot, but he has stopped a little earlier on than Josh Micklemore, so fresh tyres surround him with Hamish Gallagher and Edward Foster all pitting on at lap 36. We're on to 54, it'll be 55 when we get restarted of 112 for the ANZCAR Xfinity Thunder Series on FGM Cast. And we'll get this one back underway. Just waiting now for the pace car to jump in. When will Josh Micklemore go? We know these Mitch boys are experts at the restarts. We've said it already tonight, and he goes early and gets the gap, which he will want, I should say. And Hamish Gallagher moves straight up into P2 ahead of Ruben Phelps. Edward Foster putting pressure on Ruben Phelps. Behind him, Dave Douglas just on the low line here. Looks like he's going to lose a couple of spots as well to JCW, the other Natari Autosport entry, just getting through on that middle line. And indeed as well, Damon Stockton coming through. He's made a good recovery through these cautions after getting effectively dropped to the end of line. He's got Dave Douglas down on the inside of him, but making the pass stick.
Oh, JCW just getting a bit loose, almost running up into the wall. That was getting tight there. That was a big moment for JCW. That's lost him a lot of time. I think Stockton as well had the same thing happen to him. All of a sudden the car just got super tight going into the corner. Just did not want to turn, but they managed to keep it going, and that's given the leaders a little bit of a break up. You can see Phelps now putting the attack onto Hamish Gallagher. He's down on the inside. Foster is just behind him, so those 3 are battling it out for P2 at the moment. This is giving Josh Micklemore the opportunity to run away a little bit. So Micklemore's going to try and make hay while the sun shines and get a little bit of a lead. He's going to try his best and see what he can do here. But he's got a very fast charge in Hamish Gallagher right behind him, who is trying his best to keep him honest while defending. Meanwhile, Foster has managed to get past Phelps, so Foster has slotted in there. Those slightly older tyres of Phelps just not quite helping him as much as he'd want to. There's only about 9 laps difference, but it is making some effect, I say.
Yeah, it's just enough. They just haven't quite plateaued enough for the difference to pay dividend then. So Douglas, I imagine, will probably want to jump through pit lane at the next caution. If not, leaving it a little bit later on if he can, but that's the gamble, of course.
Yeah, I think Douglas is trying a very different strategy. He's still sitting in a relatively good position. He's up there just in front of Matty Hunter at the moment, so he's not outside of the top 10 as it stands, and he's still got some good pace in the car, so he's trying his best to work with what he's got now. He's sort of made his bed and he has to lay in it, so he's doing his absolute best with that one. Meanwhile, the Mitch cars are trying their best to run away, but Foster is not letting it happen. Ruben Phelps, meanwhile, is just sitting there in 4th position and just getting eased in now, so he's just going to keep an eye on what these guys are doing up the front, not push too hard, and then as the tyres start to even out a little bit, he might come back at them. So he's just going to let those tyres cool down a little bit before he goes back on the attack. Meanwhile, towards the back of the field, there's an absolute melee going on from around about 12th down. There are cars running 2 wide, 3 wide at some occasions. Matty Ray on the outside there, trying his best to get through the pack. He's fighting it out with Luke Georgeson at the moment, trying to get down and past him. Can't quite make it work this time round. Georgeson trying to fight his way back. He's got Lachlan Urquio as well there. So Lachlan Urquio battling his way back up the track. Mirko Dortnak just getting a little bit loose running up the track there, losing another couple of spots. But Lachlan Urquio, we saw involved in a big accident, and he's managed to work his way back up the track. So the damage is quite strong on that car, but it's not the worst it could be. Meanwhile, Damon Stockton is putting on a charge. We saw him drop right way back to the back of the pack. He just gets into JCW. A little bit of contact between the 35 and the 696 there. Side by side once more. You can see that damage on the front of Stockton's car now, just over the front right fender. And again, a little bit of contact between the two. Just that little bit of rubbing, that little bit of a touch up between the two there. They got Ruben Phelps in front of them, and Phelps is just going to be sitting there going, look, keep on battling, boys. If you keep fighting like this is only going to help me out.
Yeah, well, they'll be spending tyre life as well while they're doing this, so it will hurt them a little bit further in the race. You can see a little bit of damage there to the right-hand rear corner of Joshua Carroll Walden as Tim Weston has an issue, and we have our 6th caution of the night.
We do, yeah. Weston going around. It looks like he's had a moment with Scotty Griffiths. Scotty Griffiths just braking a little bit late there and going into the back of Weston and then getting caught up again with him. So Weston unfortunately gets caught up in that one. So yeah, so that was just a little bit of a just missing a braking point, I'd say, on Scotty Griffiths' side. Maybe Weston just caught Griffiths out, just braking a tiny bit earlier than expected. Just a simple little move there. Tiny racing mistake. Now, question is, who's going to come into pit lane? Do all the leaders come down pit lane? Do they get a fresh set of tyres for the last 46 laps? Do they risk track position?
Well, I think Dave Douglas will be hoping they do, but Brenton West, in the meantime, he's going to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, that is good news for him. He's finally going to get back on the lead lap. Micklemore coming into pit lane, and he's not going to be throwing the dummy, I don't think, because he has made the commitment. So they are coming into pit lane. Joshua Carroll Walden decided to stick it out, though. JCW is the driver that's decided to throw the dice. So he's going to stick it out there, and he's going to try and see what he can do. So a couple of people sticking it out there. Lachlan Urquio, Scott Griffiths, Luke Georgeson. So a few cars sticking it out there on some slightly fresher tyres. Tristan Kopp, Norman Clark as well on slightly older tyres. So a few drivers keeping it out there, trying something slightly different. So we'll see how they go. So cars that have stayed out: Carroll Walden, Georgeson, Urquio, Griffiths, Kopp, Clark, Wilkinson and Dortnak. So all of those guys have stayed out. So 8 cars out on older tyres. But there's a mixture of tyre life there. So some tyres have only done 16 laps, some have done 30 laps, and some have done 14 laps.
Yeah, well, let's see how that fares. We saw a little bit of a drop-off with those who did stick it out. So it just depends on whether or not cautions will breed cautions. And if they can keep running this, you're going to expect those guys at the front probably to struggle a little bit after the restart here. So as usual, only time will tell.
Yep, that is the big thing. We'll see how this unfolds. If we knew how it was gonna play out, it would make things very boring indeed.
Be a very short stream, I imagine.
It would be. And tonight's winners were this, and it's done. It would make our lives it would give us a little bit more free time, I guess.
A bit more like reading the news.
We could run multiple races though, so I guess there is some good that could come of it. But I think I prefer this method myself.
So, what have we got from here? 43 laps to go. Everyone's going to be right for fuel, even those who didn't stop this time around. So it just comes down to time management. We heard Dave Douglas talk about it earlier on. And none of that has changed. So who will do it best? Will we have another caution? I feel we probably will. I feel like there's going to be probably another couple before we get to the end of the race. So they will play into it as well.
Yeah, some different strategies playing out here tonight, and it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. And Brenton West is just coming out of pit lane, so he's chucked on a fresh set of boots for this stint as well. So he's going to have the freshest tyres of the field. Of course, he is the last car now, but he is on the lead lap, so that is good news for him. He's finally managed to get back on the lead lap after that early disconnect, so some good news for him. The pace car's lights have gone out, and we will be going back to green as it gets down the straight here at Richmond Raceway, Strawberry Hill. We are going to be going for it once more for the Xfinity Series for Wednesday Night Thunder here on FGM eCast.
When will he go? We've seen him drop early. Lachlan Urquhart, good recovery from him up into P3. He's got a very damaged car. And JCW goes straight away. Luke Georgeson on the money as well. He's off and running. In fact, a really good start from all three at the front. JCW does get that little bit of a gap enjoyed by the man who decides when they go. Scott Griffiths still in fourth. Tristan Koch coming up as well. Josh Micklemore in sixth position. He's on fresh tyres, so he's going to be quick. Norm Clark as well, just dropping down through the field a bit with his older product on that one to allow Hamish Gallagher and Edward Foster to make their move. So it's going to be a bit of a mix at the front here. You can see them going three wide in the background there. JCW getting a good start. Tristan Koch just caught in the middle there. He's the meat in the sandwich.
Oh, contact!
Big contact
between Foster, I think that might have been. So Foster and Koch, I think that was. So just a little bit of contact there. They managed to keep it going though, so no major damage to those cars. As all up in the wall, we got Koch and Urquhart, I think.
Yeah, Tristan Koch there getting up into the wall. So caution 7. This is turning into a bit of an affair. Helping all of those who went early. I think Peter Wilkinson had to jump off track to avoid this one.
He took some evasive action. He almost collected that one, but he did manage to somehow save that car. He just gave the inside barrier the tiniest little boot.
Looks like Urquhart was actually got up into potentially there by Scotty Griffiths, and that, or maybe it was Brenton West. Just slowed him down. We'll just have a look at this one again. Just slowed him down enough that by the time you can see there, Urquhart up into the fence. No, so I apologise. Urquhart's got up into the fence himself, and it looks like it was Brenton West just trying to avoid it. Tristan Koch just not able to slow up as Urquhart got caught in the fence. So a completely isolated incident, and Brenton and Tristan, they're the innocent bystanders. And look at the slide from
I was just
Wilco.
about to say, watch Brenton West. Did you see him just slip it through there between Koch and the wall, and then Wilco just taking the biggest evasive manoeuvre possible, and he just manages to get it there. He just needed to do a little bit of cadence braking across the grass. He just locked it up a bit too hard, and then just the tiniest boop on the wall. Nothing major there. That is just going to scratch the paint job slightly, but no major damage there for the Locked On iRacing car. But I must say, I want to watch that one from Brenton West's perspective. That one, I'd say that would be a bit of a knuckle, white knuckle ride from his perspective.
Well, you ask and we deliver for you, Carl. We're on board now with Brenton West.
I think that's Koch there, actually. So that's Tristan there, and this is Brenton. So Brenton West is going to come around, and then all of a sudden there is going to be a car and a gap between a car and the wall that isn't really wide enough to fit an Xfinity car, yet somehow he takes a deep breath and fits it perfectly through there, and then avoids the car in front of him, which was Norman Clark, I think.
Clark,
just slides it through there. Perfectly done. That was fantastic avoiding action from West.
Like with a lot of damage on the back of that Natari Autosport entry as well, so he's not looking to get any more, no doubt. So
yeah, damage not the biggest factor here, so it just depends where it is, of course, but cleaner the car, the better it is, of course. But yeah, it's It's not what you want to have happen. Riley Curtis just mentioning he's kind of glad he's not racing tonight. A few big incidents and a few scary ones out there, but we've seen some good racing once it's gone green. We just want those green flags to last now, because that side-by-side action was fantastic when it was going.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't mind having a chat to Wilco too and just seeing how he found he found that incident there, just managing to get off down onto the grass. We'll, no doubt have a chat to him a little bit later on, but it is probably the biggest benefactor of this one is Joshua Carroll-Walden. He didn't pit last time around, so this will help him a little bit, but of course he's got Josh Micklemore a little bit closer on behind him now, and Damon Stockton on the freshest rubber of our top 10 at the moment, pitting on lap 94. So sorry, my apologies, he pit on lap 66. So he is on fresh rubber as well. So there's a few behind who have got newer tyres, but having run a few laps on them now, 12, that benefit will start to drop off a little bit. So we'll be able to see whether or not they can make the push for the lead of the race, or whether or not JCW controlling the restart here as we're about to go green. Gets away and does a great job as well. Minimises the wheel spin, and he is off and running at the front, leaving Josh Micklemore and Luke Georgeson by themselves to battle away. Hamish Gallagher looking pacey behind, as well as Damon Stockton. Gallagher gets the move done on Stockton, as does Phelps. Georgeson and Gallagher battling away. A little bit loose there. Gets up into the wall.
Contact Stockton into Georgeson. I think that was Ruben Phelps.
Phelps.
Oh, unfortunate for Phelps. He was having such a strong night there, and no caution flag to help him out. Ruben Phelps up to fifth position then. Big hip check, and that has really cost him, so he's going to have to try and work his way back up there. That was really, really unfun for Phelpsy there. We've been having a good run up until that point, but the racing is fast and furious. You can see Chris Finlay just absolutely dive bombing Georgeson at the moment, but up the front, Josh Micklemore is making a move for the leader of the race, going up on the high side of JCW, trying to make the move. Stockton as well, really aggressive at the moment, trying to get underneath Hamish Gallagher. Those two side by side at the moment, really racing out. Stockton gets a little bit wiggly. Stockton trying to go down the inside, take it free wide into turn number 3. Stockton going to get that inside line, gets it checked up in time. You're going to see Hamish Gallagher get a better run off the corner here. Gets up into the wall. Gallagher into the wall. This is going to give Stockton the opportunity to make a bit of a move. Foster is behind as well. Watch out for Foster and Douglas. Those two are absolutely on a charge now that JCW is dropping off the pack. Dave Douglas just gets a little bit loose. The back end steps out. They are really nose to tail at the moment. There's contact all the way through the field. Just a little bit of hip and tackle here and there, but no major things. This is what you want in stock car racing. This is fantastic stuff.
Well, it feels like we're on the final 2 or 3 laps here with the way everyone's going for it as well. Christopher Finlay, he's pushing on Dave Douglas as we're on board now with Edward Foster in the Tari Autosport entry. He's up 8 spots trying to chase down Damon Stockton on fresh tyres as well, or fresh in the context of the field. So our front 4 runners now did pit on the most recent of our pit stops, lap 66. So tyres will be starting to groan a little bit, but they've still got plenty of life in them. Foster now trying to make a move on Damon Stockton.
They're all looking pretty good tyre-wise. The oldest tyres out there is on JCW, who's in 7th position at the moment. He's doing a good job of keeping it up there, and Luke Georgeson as well. He's just dropping down the order a little bit towards Mitchell West at the moment. But up front, Micklemore is trying to break a lead, but he can't quite make it work. Meanwhile, Gary Wellman just doing an absolute dive bomb on JCW, just getting past. Aiden Schultz going to try and follow him through there. Will he make it work? Just about keeping it side by side.
Contact.
Little bit of a hit. JCW somehow saves that car. That was something else. That's going to check up the field a little bit. So those guys are going to sprawl out. We're going to get 3 or 4 wide down the front, the front curve, as they're going to go into the corner. Schultz is going to get the position made. You can see Stephen Williams there on the inside. Contact between Stephen Williams and Aiden Schultz. Schultz is going to go around into Manny Hunter, and there's a big wreck, and that's going to bring out the caution flag once more.
Foster and JCW will be dirty there as well. They tried. Sorry, Norm Clark will be dirty there. They tried, almost made it through, couldn't quite do it. And Aiden Schultz there with some damage. Let's unravel this one. See how this played out.
So this was a few laps in the making, almost, you could say, but it looks like Stevie Dove just got a little bit tight and just ran up the road a little bit. Schultz just getting a little bit of a tap and could not save it from there, and then down he goes. And a secondary incident in the background as they were trying to check up a little bit. Kristen Koch just got a big slap in the rear from Tim Weston. So really nowhere to go. Ruben Phelps as well in that one too. So it was just disaster, unfortunately, for a lot of drivers.
Tell you who this worked out reasonably well for, if it can for anyone, as we head back live, is Brenton West. This man was 6 laps down at the start of this race. He's now in P10 outright. So this has played out very well for him. And of course, we did say it just need to be some caution to get him there. It has been, and he's kept the car clean. It was a net code or a dropout that caused him to end up 6 laps down. He's qualified in P7, so he's got some pace, and at the moment out there in a clean car. So looking good for him.
Just behind his Mitchell West there as well. So the Wests have made it together on track, the two West boys.
And dare I say as well, Carl, the cleanest car on the track, the 83 of Mr. Sheen himself, Matty Ray, in 11th, up 13 spots. So he is still doing Matty Ray things.
Yep, he is working well. He's just sitting back there and just not making too much of a ruckus yet. And we're going to have 20 odd laps remaining in this race. You can see those marbles starting to form up on the high side now as well. That's going to make racing a little bit more sketchy out there, so that's not what you want generally, but it does affect it a little bit. It's going to make things a little bit dicey for a few drivers, and I feel like we're probably going to see maybe one more caution tonight. I've got that feeling that we'll probably see one more caution, and then we might get some good green flag racing. As Stevie Dubb coming in pit lane.
Interesting.
So, possibly getting some repairs done for himself, or going to chuck on some fresh boots as well, because there's a few cars coming in. Aiden Schultz and Matt Hunter as well. They're going to be coming in for repairs, of course. So they'll see what they can do from there. But you got to say, it's looking good for the Mitch boys. But watch out for Damon Stockton. He's got speed and a bit between his teeth tonight as well. And there's always the ever-lurking presence of Foster and Douglas as well, two crafty veterans sitting behind them. So there is a lot to play for here. You have the fast charges of Finlay and Wellman as well, the Sim boys, and we know that they are quick on their night. Not always the easiest of races for them, but when they get on pace, they are very fast and they are very hard charging races as well. So they'll be thinking about some positions on this restart as well. And as you say, Matty Ray, Brenton West, both of them are going to be looking for a good result. Mitchell West as well, first season in ANZCAR, he's going to be wanting to get a good run out of this too. So, you know, there's a lot to play for right now, and we've got a Mitch 1-2 at the front, and that's going to help them out immensely.
Just having a look through our cameras there, brought to you by Track Cams for Gourmet. So plenty of different views there that we're having a look at here on board, as you can see, with Everett Foster for this restart. So we're going to have a look at when he goes. Keep an eye on that left there, and there it is. Fish Motorsport, Josh Mickelmore off. Hamish Gallagher goes with him, but Damon Stockton gets a good restart as well, down on that low side. He's trying to get in there. Car breaks a little loose for him. Quite get to take the advantage, but same thing happened there to Gallagher as well. So Stockton now down on the inside with a good run.
Marbles, as I said, just those marbles coming into effect, I think, on that high line, just working them out a little bit. So few cars. Oh, we got an instant. Cars coming into pit lane, and I think cars coming into pit lane to serve penalties possibly. And Tim Weston just missing pit entry, but manages to make it. Stockton and Gallagher side by side at the moment. Look at this battle, and Foster's thinking, I want a piece of this. I want some in on this action. This looks like some good fun. So Foster is trying his best to get up there as well. Gallagher really trying to keep the pace up. He's managed to keep some good running on that higher line at the moment. Josh Mickelmore just choosing that slightly low line. He's defending like anything, but Stockton is really super aggressive at the moment.
Oh, contact.
Stockton goes round into Foster. Dave Douglas as well. A big accident there.
Disappointing there. Contact from Foster onto Stockton. So causing that incident.
Yeah, just getting the back there, and then Stockton just goes back up and around he goes. Big accident up front. Luckily, not too many cars caught up in that. Lachlan Urquio just sneaking it through between Stockton and the wall, so he managed to avoid a little bit less contact on that car. It could have been much, much worse for him. I did say I was suspecting another caution tonight. It was just had that feeling just for at least one more at least out there, especially with the aggression shown up the front of the pack. There has been some really aggressive driving out there tonight, which is not always a bad thing. You know, it's you've got to be aggressive sometimes to try and make the moves and try and make the passes, but it's not quite worked out there for Foster and Stockton, unfortunately.
Plenty of damage there. Dave Douglas getting a little bit more onto that right-hand front corner, as well as he tried to avoid Edward Foster. A little bit on the left-hand front too, so a bit of damage there as Peter Wilkinson heads on his way back past to make up a lap, get back onto the lead lap of this race.
He's going to get back onto the lead lap on some nice fresh tyres as well for Wilco, so that is good news for him. And there are a lot of damaged cars in front of him as well, so he's got an opportunity now to start making up some positions at the tail end of this race, so he could be in for a fairly decent finish. So he could be looking at a top 15 finish tonight if all things go to plan. Josh Mickle, meanwhile, is going to be thinking about that restart now, and he's going to be probably chatting a little bit with his teammate Hamish Gallagher, just saying, well, you know, I might drop the pedal here. I might accelerate at this stage of the corner if you want to do so as well. It probably will work out well for us too. Look at Wellman and Finley as well. Those two are just creeping their way up the field. Brenton West up to P7 now as well. Matty Ray P8. Those two are just sneaking their way through the field. I mean, Matty Ray obviously starting down in 24th for having a lot of places to gain. Gary Wellman started at way down in 22nd as well, so 17 positions gained for himself, so good run from him. But Brenton West, of course, 6 laps down, and he is now in P7. That is a solid performance.
Yeah, he'll be wrapped with that, particularly from the start of the race, so you would have thought it was all over for him, but not at all. So he's back into where he qualified, and he'll be looking to press a claim for a top 5, I imagine, given the damage on the cars in front of him.
Yeah, he's going to be looking to get something done with that. And just noticed Peter Wilkinson just taking his last set of tyres as well. So he's just strapped on a fresh set of boots for this final run. So he's going to be the last car in the field, but he will have the freshest tyres of the bunch. So that could work out well for him here if we get a 13 or 12 lap dash to the end. So keep an eye on that car. We'll see how that one works out later in the race. But the battle up the front is going to be the one to watch out for. Dave Douglas. Looks like it was all going pear-shaped for him earlier on as he stayed out there on tyres for a long, long time. And he's still managing to stick up there in P3 at the moment, so that long stint worked out very well for him. Foster, quite a lot of damage to the back. How much of that damage is going to affect him, he won't know until he gets back to full speed. So he's going to have to find that out the hard way on the restart. Meanwhile, there are two very fresh-looking cars. Josh Micklemore, a little bit of damage on the back, but Hamish Gallagher with almost a pristine car. A couple of little scratches on the right-hand door, but nothing that won't buff out with a little bit of wax and polish. And we are away again. Josh Micklemore gets a nice restart there with Hamish Gallagher. The Mitch car's pulling away. Foster gets a good restart as well. Dave Douglas trying to get around on the outside. He's going to try and loop it around, see what he can do there. Watch out for Gary Wellman as well. He could have a good charge here as Hamish Gallagher gets a really good drive off the corner here. Gets down on his teammate and gets underneath Josh Micklemore, trying to make the move for the lead of the race. We've got 12 laps remaining. Who is going to take this one out? It is anyone's game, but it looks like it's between Micklemore and Gallagher at the moment. Those two seem to have just a bit more pace than the rest of the field and are racing hard up the front. Foster in third has managed to break away a little bit. Dave Douglas has got Gary Wellman battling with him at this stage.
Look at these guys at the front going for it. Just a little high there for Micklemore, but still good, in good position. Side by side racing between the Mitch Motorsport teammates. Josh Micklemore and Hamish Gallagher. This will be a battle to watch at the end. Foster still retains third position as Micklemore gets a good run, so he still managed to get out into the lead here. Damon Stockton rejoins the race. And we mindful Gary Wellman putting lots of pressure on Edward Foster as well. Behind with Dave Douglas joining in, Christopher Finlay in that one. Matty Ray up into 7th position as well. So there's plenty of battles going on inside this top 10 for position.
Yeah, this race is not over yet. There are cars still just getting a little bit tail happy out of the corners at the moment. Hamish Gallagher, Gary Wellman into the back of Foster. Foster manages to save it. And he keeps going, but that's going to open up the gap for the Mitch boys. Foster managed to keep that one in a straight line somehow, but he's going to drop positions there. This is going to give Matty Raymond the opportunity to make a move. Josh Micklemore and Hamish Gallagher, though, are going to be battling it out for first and second. Will Gary Wellman be able to catch up? I don't think so. Depends what happens up the front. Gary Wellman, though, has got some good pace at the moment. Currently in P3. Dave Douglas just behind him. A massive battle just behind them as well. Between Dave Douglas, Foster, Raymond, Joshua Carroll, Walden, Christopher Finlay, Brenton West. Pretty much the whole field, you could say. As Matty Ray tries to get down on the inside at the moment. Can't quite make it happen on Foster this time round. Will he get it working now? Not quite. He's really trying to push it there. And you can see JCW is still trying to attempt to make a move too. This battle is really heating up. Meanwhile, up the front, Micklemore is just defending against Hamish Gallagher. Those two are nose to tail at the moment, but the battle is in the midfield, you've got to say, between Foster and Raymond. Raymond getting the inside line, getting better drive off the corner right there. There's a contact between Finlay and Aidan Schultz. Aidan Schultz round, and that's going to bring the caution out.
Well, it does indeed. How does that play out for Matty Ray? Was he far enough up on Foster to retain that position during the caution? Probably was. So he's now up into 5th. Gary Wellman got up into 3rd position. And this really penalises out of all of them the Mitch Motorsport boys, who'd open up a nice handy lead at the front despite their battling. And now they're going to have to keep an eye on the prize and an eye on everyone else trying to take it from them, behind them at this restart. So go back and just have a look at this replay.
So what we'll see here is Finlay just getting up into the wall, if we can get it. There we go, Finlay just getting a little bit of bump into the wall, and he just gets bounced down into Ruben. And Aidan Schultz. Aidan Schultz.
Yep.
And that's all she wrote, unfortunately. Real big shame there for Schultzy.
He's had a tough night tonight. So he'll be looking to forget this one.
Been a tough night for the Aussie esports team. A big shame, because they've been having some good runs, very fast cars, but it has been affecting them. One to keep an eye out for on this restart is going to be Peter Wilkinson. He is on the freshest tyres, sort of pretty much up there, other than Damon Stockton. So watch him on this one. We might get a green white checker. He's currently sitting in P13. So it's very possible he might be able to sneak his way up into the top 10 here, depending on what happens. So he's just got to get that restart nailed and see what he can do here. And there are a few slightly damaged cars in front of him. So Luke Georgeson's got some damage. Mitchell West as well. Christopher Finlay. And then he's got people like Stevie Dubb, Joshua Carroll Walden, and some very fast cars to try and get past. But we'll see how this one goes on. This is going to be an interesting finish here. And look, you've got to say the Mitch boys have been absolutely dominating it tonight. As we often say in the ANZCAR series, Mitch Motorsport doing a fantastic job. Josh Micklemore doing a great job leading the race. Started 6th, not the best qualifying for him, but worked his way right up to the top. Hamish Gallagher leading the majority of the race, really battling it out as well. Gary Wellman doing a really nice job as well. 22nd to 3rd at the moment. 19 positions gained. He's currently tied for highest positions, for most positions, between himself and Matty Ray.
No surprises there that Matty Ray's in that sentence. 19 places, clean car, so he will put on a challenge. Dave Douglas, you can rest assured, will put on a challenge as well. So I think from here, to be honest, it's really, even with the green-white checker, it's going to be down to which of the Mitch Motorsport boys gets across the line, and then who is going to fill the 3rd step on the podium. We've got a few candidates. Edward Foster, don't rule him out as well. So it's going to come down to who can get the cleanest restart, who is ready and gets going when Josh Mickelmore drops the hammer, and who can run those 2 laps as strong as possible.
Yeah, this is going to be a nail-biter. We're going to have a green light checker here, of course, so it's going to be a final shootout. This is it. This is the final restart. Who is going to make it work from here? Who is going to get it right? Who is going to get it wrong? We see it when it's a green light checker. The adrenaline starts to pump a little bit, and people sometimes lose their head a little bit. They get a little bit too aggressive sometimes, and sometimes it can cause a bit of an incident. But hopefully we will get a nice green finish, and hopefully we will get a good race across the line. Will Dave Douglas or Gary Wellman be able to do anything about the Mitch Motorsport boys of Josh Mickelmore and Hamish Gallagher? We're going to find out as we go green here at Richmond Raceway. Round 3 of the Xfinity action. Mickelmore gets a fantastic start. Lightning reactions from Mickelmore. Very well done. Matty Ray trying to get down the inside there. There's a little bit of contact between Douglas and Wellman. They're trying to keep the high line. Matty Ray's going to get a good run off the corner. This could be a fantastic news for him. He's trying to get down on the inside of Gary Wellman. Can't quite make it, but he's going to get past Dave Douglas. Josh Mickelmore's got the front pretty much tied up at the moment. Gary Wellman holding on to P3 as it stands. White flag is out. Josh Mickelmore in the lead. Hamish Gallagher's going to try and make a move. You can see Matty Ray trying his best to do a job on to Gary Wellman. Can't quite make it work. Hamish Gallagher is looking to make the move. Gary Wellman gets loose. This is going to be good news for Matty Ray. Will Matty Ray be able to make it work? No, he can't. Gary Wellman runs up the track. That's going to slow them both down. Matty Ray's going to get good run off the corner. Josh Mickelmore's going to take the win. Who's going to come home third? It's going to be Matty Raymond, I think. That was Matty Ray.
Yeah, by 1,000th. My goodness me. We missed the finish there. Apologies, but Josh Mickelmore did get it across the line. A good margin over Hamish Gallagher, and Matty Ray pinches it on the line. What a result. Matty Ray will be very, very happy with that. But it is Josh Mickelmore taking out the race win here with a really strong performance. He's moved up 5 positions to take out the win. Battled hard with Hamish Gallagher, pushing him all night. And he's just managed to get across the line and take the bickies.
There was bugger all between Matty Ray and Gary Wellman there. That is a photo finish and a half. Absolutely nothing between those guys. What a photo finish there. That was a fantastic battle for P3 there. Big shout out Brenton West as well. He managed to get up to P7 in the end. So he started 7th, finished 7th. That's not the story of the night. Unfortunately, there was some contact in the background as the final lap happened. And I think it might have been Stockton just got into the back of... there was a few different accidents going on, but I think Stockton might have got into the back of Wilkinson, and that cost him a couple of positions. But Peter Wilkinson finished 14th in the end. I saw a few people cheering him on. So that is his best finish in the ANZCAR series. So top 15. I said watch out for him in the top 15, and he managed to do it. So P14, not bad in the end. Let's run through the top 10 though. And it is the winner, Josh Mickelmore for Mitch Motorsport, doing the lap of honour here at Richmond. 2nd place, Hamish Gallagher. 3rd for Matty Ray. 4th for Gary Wellman. 5th for Edward Foster. 6th, Dave Douglas. 7th for Brenton West. What a recovery drive. 6 laps down at the start of the race. Managed to get P7 at the end. Joshua Carroll Walden 8th. 9th, Stevie Dubb. 10th for Mitchell West as well. Good night for the Wests there. Both of them managing to get inside the top 10.
Yeah, and particularly given 6 laps down getting into the race. So a fantastic result for him. 10 cautions tonight as well. Not something that we're too used to seeing. So a different kind of race for us here tonight. But result all the same. A very strong performance from Mitch Motorsport and Matty Ray as well. So they will be pretty pleased with how they've got on, you would think.
I imagine so, and that is great news for Matty Ray as well, because he's got a championship to think about at the moment. He has had two top 5 finishes this season already, and that's only going to help him out. So that's his 3rd top 5 finish of the year, so that is really, really good news for him. And that is really just, as I said, that's really going to help him out in the standings. So really good news for Matty Ray there.
Yeah, well,
So-
speak of the devil, we'll bring the podium in to the booth now, and Carl, take it away.
So we'll start off with a man I wasn't speaking to that long ago. It's nice to speak to you again, Mr. Matty Ray. Congratulations on P3. You got that one by a bee's dick.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Yeah, that was close. I feel a bit bad. Like I apologise to Gaz because I thought he actually had it.
There was nothing between you two there. I sort of went back and looked at the replay, and it is... The naked eye could not tell, in all honesty. It was that close, but P3 for yourself, pretty darn good, I can imagine. 21 positions gained in the race. Not a bad race for yourself there.
Yeah, that one's alright, eh? Yeah, happy with that one. Because in practice the thing was ploughing pretty bad, so I worked on the brake bias quite a bit. And yeah, I'm as surprised as you are, to be honest. I was hoping for a top 10, so.
I don't
all right.
I don't know if you've checked out the championship standings at the moment yet, Mr. Matty Ray.
Somebody did point out that apparently I'm a little bit lonely out the top there, apparently, but yeah, that's not bad, eh?
Yeah, you might be in the lead of the championship coming into this round, and this is just going to help you by a fair bit. I mean, this is your third top 5 finish of the season, so it's not going too badly for you this year, is it?
It is a good start, but I got Josh and Hamish and those boys to deal with, so I'm sure they'll be catching me in no time. Don't worry about that one.
It is a very, very scary thing to have them two breathing down your neck. I can speak from mild experience there. It's not easy defending against them, but a really good start to the season. And look, not the cleanest of races out there tonight. And again, you've managed to somehow get your car home with most of the panels pretty much connected. Just a slight scratch, I think, on the right-hand fender. But other than that, not much at all. Another great drive from yourself.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, and the only bit of damage I did all on my own too. Like I just drove it into the fence, come off the turn.
A little bit of self-inflicted
wasn't loose
damage.
or anything. Yeah, it was. I just don't know why.
You just
lapse of concentration for a second. So
you wanted something to do over the weekend. You just wanted something to polish out. Just get the old hammer out, tap it back into position, and she'll be right, mate.
yeah, that's it. Crew will look on board. So.
Congratulations on the top 3 finish. As usual, shout out and love to sponsors, mate.
Yeah, the usual crew, all the boys, SRM. We got Scotty down at McLean Mechanical, Johnny Larber, Mobile Brake and Mechanical Repairs, Eric at Silver Star Service and Restoration, Josh down at KL Crash, Danny down at the Maid of Auckland, and I think that's it at the minute.
All right, thanks for that, Matty Ray. Congratulations. Great to speak to you. Good luck tomorrow night. We'll be back here, of course, for the Cup, and hopefully we'll get you back in the booth very soon.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Have another night like tonight. Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Next up, we will head to the number 13 Mitch Motorsport driver, Hamish Gallagher. Congratulations on that P2. That battle between yourself and Josh was pretty epic all night long.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. Bit of a disappointing race, unfortunately, but managed to keep it clean for once, which is good. I had a bit of a bad run lately with wrecks, or all of us in the team have, so to get both of us home without any major incidents, it's we'll take that.
Yeah, that's the main thing, getting home without major incidents, and it is a 1-2 for the team as well. You can't do much better than that, obviously. I mean, I'm pretty sure you'd prefer to be in one spot higher, of course, and to finally get a win with that new livery.
Yeah. We got to have a little bit of a battle there towards the end, but unfortunately one of the lap cars came out of pit lane, and I didn't want to get a bit messy there, trying to go free wide or something like that, so I pulled back in the line, and that was probably my last shot, unfortunately, but still happy with get P2.
So how hard was it on the restarts trying to sort of time it, and were you sort of working out between each other when you were going to start, or were you just both racing each other from the get-go on those restarts?
Yeah, she was pretty difficult because there was quite a lot of wheel spin, especially once we'd had, cycled the tyres a few times. So you're managing that. And then you sort of had a mix of cars on different strategies. Some had old tyres and stuff like that and damage. So it was a bit hairy there. Some of the restarts were kind of free wide and stuff like that. But obviously that caused a few problems. I saw a few good cars unfortunately get taken out. But once it wasn't either of us. So you sort of got to take them when you can get them.
No, look, congratulations on the P2. It's good to get you back up here in the booth, and it's been a little bit of time. And it's always a pleasure to have you up here, and this is going to help you get some more points for the championship, of course, and help you hopefully get back to defending the title this season.
Yeah, I'm going to have to chase down Matty Ray. He's been on fire. So another good, strong result for him. Championship leader. So got our work cut out for him.
Good time.
Yeah, no, it's good to see. I saw even Norm was up there as well. Unfortunately, I saw him. His car got a bit dinged up tonight. But it was good to see him up there. I think it was P2 in the championship. So, yeah, it's good to see some different faces up there.
Yeah, always nice to see some fresh blood up there, and we're always happy to see that. But I wouldn't say Norman and Matty Ray are that fresh and blood-wise, but nice to see them up there in championships.
Age-wise, we're probably a couple of the oldest there.
On the P2 Hamish. I'm gonna shut up for a moment before I get in too much trouble. Just give some love and shout out to sponsors.
Yeah, no, just shout out to you boys for the broadcast, ANZCAR for the league, all the Mitch Motorsport guys, Bob King, and on to next week.
No, congratulations, Hamish, and well done again on P2. We'll head up now to the winner of the race, Mr. Josh Micklemore. Congratulations on that victory, mate.
Yeah, cheers, man. Bit different compared to normal lately.
It's nice to have you back up there in the top slot. It's nice to have you back up here in the booth. It's been a bit of a shocker for you. I mean, it's you've not had the best of luck some races, but even so, it's not been the best start to the championship for you in the Xfinity cars. But you were sitting 5th when you came into this round, so this win is definitely going to help you out.
Yeah, had a couple of rough starts. The first 2 races in Xfinity as well. I think we were outside of top 10 or something, but can't remember exactly. But yeah, knew we had a fast car, and all the way from practice, I sort of stuffed up qualifying big time. I had to start 6th, but I knew we had a quick car. Just managed to get me back through the field, which we managed to do a few times tonight. And yeah, it was bloody good fun though.
Yeah, with pit strategies, of course, we saw obviously. Fuel wasn't too much of an issue. It was more of just the tyres and things like that. Were you a bit worried about people possibly undercutting you a little bit if there was a long green period, or were you just sort of thinking, no, I'm just going to stick to strategy, what I've got written down?
No, I'll just stick in the strategy, really. Those last, with 20 to go, thought a few cars might have pitted, but everyone just stayed out, so that sort of helped us a bit as well. But I think track position was a big thing here tonight, so...
Yeah, track position did seem to be king, and obviously helping avoid some of those wrecks that happen down the field a little bit. Obviously, very hard racing between yourself and Hamish at the end there until you sort of got broken up a little bit. How were you enjoying that one?
Oh yeah, when we were, I think it was a second pit stop or something. We both started like 8th or 9th or something like that, and we were both coming through the field. Hamish was low, we had cars in the middle of us, and I was running high. I'm like, I heard on my spotter was saying, 3 wide, you're 3 wide, and then I'm like, okay, that's got to be Hamish down there. Didn't know who it was, but bloody good fun, man.
No, congratulations on the victory. Look, I'm sure there are going to be a few people cheering you on in chat as ever. The Mitch Motorsport, and especially the Josh Micklemore fan club out there. Congratulations again. And before I let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors and general people.
Yeah, just to all the Mitch Motorsport boys, BK's Bob King's BK Designs, and the fellow South Aussie here, Matt Raymond. Good job so far, mate. Keep it up.
Cheers, bud.
Yeah, well done, Mr. Shane. And you guys for streaming the event.
You say South Australians are some of the best drivers in ANZCAR. It's just part of the truth, in all honesty.
You're South Aussie too, aren't you?
Maybe.
Don't sound it, actually, mate.
2 of the 3 trophies are in South Australia at the moment, so as long as we make it 3.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, we're not doing too bad down here at the moment. So it's going well for us. Congratulations again, guys. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll catch you back up here in the booth tomorrow night.
Cheers, lads.
All right, cheers, guys.
Thanks, Carl.
So, as said Stuart, we are back here at Richmond tomorrow night for the chase. It is the Cup cars, though, a very different beast here tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they're going to go with, obviously, the difference between the Xfinity and the Cup cars. The grid will be a very, very similar size indeed. And it's going to be very, very tight. We, as the guys mentioned, 3 wide through some sections of the track in the race. And you know, those guys are effectively racing for sheep stations, as sheep station as it can get with the second round of the chase. So it's going to be an exciting one tomorrow night.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. And of course, as you say, we can catch it here on FGM Ecast. We hope you can join us there. Make sure to give the channel a subscribe and a like. It will help you catch more races in the future, and of course help us broadcast to more people as well. A big thank you to everybody that came and watched tonight as well. We cannot do it without your support, so a huge thank you to everybody for watching.
Yeah, absolutely. On FGM Ecast, your E-Pace. Oh, I can't even do it. It's Wednesday night. How are we going to go tomorrow night? FGM Ecast, your E-Place for pace. We'll be back tomorrow night from 7:45 tomorrow night, an earlier start time, so that we can do some of the intro stuff for the chase. So we will see you then, and hope you have a fantastic Thursday before we see you on the channel. So until then, it's thank you and goodbye from Carl Withy and myself on FGM Ecast.